There we go. I've set everything up. Whatever happens, happens.
That's good. You've done a good job.
Oh, thank you. And you're the first guest ever to help me set up. Yeah, all those slouches before you.
Go figure. I just sent that Facebook link to
Very good. Quick intro, ladies and gentlemen, in the historic Westin Hotel.
Overlooking, look at that. That's a
Unbelievable. Here, I guess you'll have to pick that up and put it right to your mouth because normally we're at a table, but this is it's gonna do.
I'll just take this.
3 days before Christmas.
Yes, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Johnny Reid is here.
All right, brother.
Yeah, so good to see you, man. We should crack the mini bar open in this place, actually. What the hell are we doing?
There's no mini bar in here.
Are you kidding me?
Already checked, yeah.
They knew you were coming. Get the mini bar out.
Yeah, man.
So good to see you, man.
Good to see you,
You look
brother.
handsome as usual, you know?
I'm keeping well, man. I'll try to live clean, man. Just
You know,
take
we
care
got
of
the
myself.
exact same shirt on. It's like I'm looking in the mirror.
Yours looks a wee bit more buff than mine.
I just came from the gym. Actually, this is the wrong side for me. We should both have our tattoos facing the thing. Do you want to switch?
Let's switch.
Let's
yeah.
switch.
It was too much pain.
Yeah,
you know.
let's do that. This is.
that's
how's
better.
that look?
That's better. Eh?
Huh?
That's good.
Yeah, we got the guns. It's the most ridiculous thing we've ever done. Although your seat's really warm. This is kind of nice.
I've been sitting there for about 3 hours.
Yeah, it's full of fart.
Yes.
So that's the NAC right there. That's where you're going to be performing tonight.
Yeah, I sang there last night, and then we got another show tonight, and it's been wonderful. It's been great. You know, I said to you before, I've never sang with a full orchestra before,
Yeah.
so.
How many people in the orchestra?
I think there's like 57 or 58.
Wow.
Something like that, and it's just brilliant. You know, these are classically trained musicians, and you know, they're taking songs that I've sort of written at my kitchen table, and
It's unbelievable.
all of a sudden there's, you
Yeah.
know, it's just amazing. So
It
it's been great. It's been a big learning experience for me, because I've never, usually when I go on stage, Mark, it's like, you know, I'm not on a track. You know, I can do anything I want. I can add solos, take away solos. When you're with the orchestra, everything's on a page.
Right.
So you have to.
Did they give you dirty looks if you
have to
screw
be on
things
it.
up?
I'm not looking at them. I'm looking at this way, so I don't even. I can only hear them. I can't see them.
Oh, so they're behind you.
know?
You don't
they're
like it's
behind
not
us.
like they're in front of you
No,
there.
no,
Isn't that
no.
they're preaching to the
They're
choir?
not in the pit. No.
Not in the pit, yeah.
No.
So I'm going to go tonight. Super excited.
Cool.
Here's something I realized. I got these tickets. Well, my wife and I are going tonight.
Yes.
I got them for my birthday, August 21st.
Oh, come on.
It's the same day as you.
Kidding. Happy birthday, man.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Belated birthday.
Also one of my son's birthdays.
Is it right?
Isn't that crazy?
On the same day?
Same
That's
day,
crazy.
August 21st.
My two, I've got 3 boys and a girl, but my 2 boys are born a couple of days apart in July, and my middle boy's October, and then Ava's January, so they're
You're buying presents all year round.
But the 21st number is everywhere. My wife's birthday's on the 21st, my birthday's on the 21st. Well, the 21st is everywhere.
Yeah,
so.
my other son's June 21st.
So you're a Leo.
Leo, for sure.
Man, right on the edge.
Couple
man.
of Leos here.
Yeah.
We look like a couple of Leos, don't we? Look, there's a Leo right there.
You're telling you, man.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, so super exciting. I got to tell this story because it's one of these game changers, one of these things that completely changed my life. And I don't have any clue at what point it came in my life as I think back, you know, how memory can fog and you just remember the things you want.
Sure.
But it was Jimmy Georgitsos, good friend of ours, says, hey, John, at the time you were John Reid, by the way.
I'm still John Reid, yeah.
Who the hell's Johnny Reid? I'm like, it does have a better ring to it for sure. So John Reid is playing at the Corral Center. Yeah. We're gonna go check it out. And all I knew from John Reid was, you got up on the table there at rookie camp at Dewhurst at Bishop's University, and you sang. And I remember watching you sing. Oh, Jesus, that guy can sing. And I thought that's not gonna help him in football at all.
Well, football was not my future. You know.
That does not parlay into football success at all. He's terrible. Anyway, so I knew you could sing. Yeah. And then Jimmy invites me to the Corral Center to see John Reid. Sure. I'm like, he's in the concourse. He's putting on some sort of a pre-thing in the parking lot, whatever. Sure. He's got Tupperware. He's banging. I have no idea. And I get there, and there's a table. I think your career is just starting out there, but there was a modest table. You're opening for 2 huge people too. I don't remember who they were. Do you remember this?
I can't remember. I played there a few times. It might have been maybe Martina McBride.
It was 2 people. It was 2. They were like two countries superstars that I'd heard of. One's a woman, one's a man.
It would have been Martina McBride and maybe a Little Big Town.
Never heard of either of those people.
Or Brad Paisley.
And that sounds more familiar.
I can't remember who the other.
Yeah, that sounds more familiar. So I get there, and there's like a huge table with your face on T-shirts. Yeah. I'm like, what's going on here? You know, it starts to happen. I'm going, I don't have a clue. Yeah. And you got us the tickets, so they're real good. Yeah. So we slide in there, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, he's gonna go up on stage. No one's gonna care. The show starts. Johnny Reid comes on. Everybody's going crazy. Yeah.
Made a lot of mates. I made, through the years. I mean, the last time I saw you. I think the last time I saw you, well, I might have seen you back then, but my memory of you, when somebody says to me, Mark Hatfield, my memory of you was my rookie year coming to Bishops, and somehow when I was in high school in Brampton, I was a running back, and I did very well as a running back, and I was a kicker, but Ian Breck asked us if I'd be interested in coming up and kicking, And in the back of my mind, I thought, I'll go kick for them, but man, I'll end up running the ball up there. I'm going to be a running back. And I remember you walking in the door, and I looked at my dad, and my dad's a pretty humble fella, and he looks at me and says, "Have you seen the size of that guy?" I said, yes.
He's the running back.
I don't think you want to be a running back, buddy. I think you're better sticking to the kicking.
Kick the ball, yeah.
Because you were like, you were how much? I was 6'6", 6'7", and
still am.
And you were
at Bishops. I was about 280, 285, but like a good 280, 285
you were
for
a big
sure.
Man.
Yeah, I got to 320 at one point. That was ridiculous. I could barely walk upstairs.
Yeah,
about 100 pounds less now.
Yeah, you were a big man. I was. Yeah. It was an amazing thing, for somebody like me to walk in and go, there's no way I'm running anything against these guys. But that's what I remember, Mark. And I remember I've got a great picture of you and I at the football banquet, my first year. And I've got great memories of that, great memories of all the boys. And just being part of something bigger than myself was a good lesson for me back then. I'll tell you a funny story. I don't know if you remember this. It was 1994. It was the OQIFC semi-finals, I guess, before the Vanier. Okay. It was the Churchill Bowl.
Yes.
And they had brought us in. We were playing Western, and we were defeated. And I came in the dressing room, and Ian Breck was gone, like, he was gone off, and it was halftime. He was gone off, and like all this stuff, all this shit laying around here, and blah blah blah. And he goes, "Who's this? And whose is that? And whose is this?" And then he looks and he goes, "Who's mandolin?"
You had a mandolin in the change.
It was hanging up in my locker room, in my locker, and it was that moment, that I realised maybe this football thing's not for me, And it was like, I'll never forget it, but I remember that, and I remember that's what I miss. I don't miss the game as much as I miss the camaraderie.
100%.
I enjoyed the camaraderie, and the feeling of team.
Right.
And maybe that's why I went on to create my own team,
right,
in a different
It's
format.
interesting you say that because Lennoxville as a whole is like a team. You get there and you're in this small environment, and a lot of people that we both know have gone on to do great things because they were allowed to flourish as a young person in that sort of small micro environment, right? I mean, you go there, and especially as a football player, you get there and you got 65 friends on the first day you're there, and then you're allowed to sort of flourish and grow in a little environment like that. And I think it's a testament to sort of, we're living in a global world now where there's mental health issues all over the place. There's all kinds of stuff. And, back then when we were walking around campus, we were allowed to sort of feel like we were part of something.
Well, that place, I mean, let alone the place itself, but just the experience of gone somewhere different. It gave you the opportunity to sort of reimagine yourself, recreate yourself, so to speak. And for me, that was a big deal because, when I had moved to Canada as a young fella there, 16. I was an angry Scottish immigrant teenager, and sort of went about my life in that manner, and it wasn't until I had this sort of like opportunity, there was light at the end of the tunnel where somebody wanted me to go to this university, this college. It was amazing. It was like, break the chain. Nobody in my family had ever gone to post-secondary education. So here was a chance for me to go to this place. And then people going, well, who are you? You had a chance to say, That's a good question. Who am I?
Yep.
And who is it that I want to be here?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Lennoxville offered me. It gave me a chance to really just reinvent, you know, and refocus the way that I wanted my life to go. And it was, I'll forever be thankful for that, you know. It was good.
I mean, Ian Breck changed my life for sure. Like you said, to have someone phone you in the morning and, you know, to wake you up to go to high school, to work on your marks and all that, to give you a goal, something to chase after, you know. I don't know if I would have ever got myself out of bed and, you know, and got that 75 that I needed. I'm lying, I needed 70 and I got 70, you know, to get into sociology of bishops, but obviously it changed my life. I don't know if you're familiar with my dream, my story. I'll give you the quick 2-minute version here because I'm sure lots of people will be watching this who have no idea and haven't listened to other podcasts. But 1985, me and my big brother Bill sat down to watch Dan Marino and the Miami Dolphins play in the Super Bowl. During that game, my brother was like, hey, you know what? You could play in the NFL someday, right? And I played 1 year. Before that, I'm like, okay, kid from Ottawa is going to make it. We started working out and throwing the ball around. Unfortunately, 9 months later, my brother passed away on October 30th, 1985. And on that day, I set a goal. I'm like, listen, in my brother's name, I'm just never going to give up on this dream, no matter what happens, till I either accomplish it or till there's nowhere left to keep trying. Next 10 years were filled with, failure. I never made all-star teams. I had to go back to next year of high school. I got to Bishops my first year. I broke my ankle, never played a game. Never got those all-star awards, you know, just people kept moving me positions and stuff. But I never gave up. I'd made that promise. And on October 30th, 1995, 10 years to the day, I signed a contract with the Miami Dolphins. And the person who told me I made the team was Dan Marino.
Was that right?
Right. So I
Mental.
know. Unbelievable, right?
Yeah, it's crazy how these things happen in your life. I was telling, I tell the story quite a bit. It's funny that I'm sitting here with you because right here was one of the kind of moments in my life. I grew up in a very much a working class environment in Scotland. My granny was a cleaner, a school cleaner, and her goal in life, my granny's goal in life, was to meet the Queen, to get a letter for the Queen. Okay. When you turn 100, you get a letter for the Queen.
It's one way of doing it,
right? That's what she does. That was her. So every year on her birthday, she'd say, "Oh, how you doing, Gran? I'm great, son. I'm one more year closer, you know, to getting that letter." And she never. Long story, she never got the letter. She got to 87 and she passed. But she passed in May that year, 2000. I think maybe 2009. In May, and about 3 weeks later, I got a phone call to ask me if I would be able to come and sing for the Queen. Right here.
What? You sang for the Queen right there?
Right there, man. And it was Canada Day, and there I was, and I sang, "Today I'm going to try and change the world." And when it was all said and done, the Queen wanted to come and shake hands with everybody involved, and you weren't allowed to speak to the Queen unless the Queen spoke to you. And she said nothing to anybody. She just kind of walked everybody, but she stopped at me, and she said, "I enjoyed your song very much." And I said, and I didn't know what to say, Mark, you know, and I just looked at her and I went, "Margaret Reid says hello." And she went, and she continued, and she left. But it was a very, very similar moment for me. It was kind of full circle, you know, and the fact that my granny, it took her passing, and then here we go. I get a chance to tell the Queen,
unbelievable,
just tell the Queen what her name was.
Yeah.
Would have been enough for my gran.
Yep.
My gran, for the Queen to know who my granny was, would have been plenty.
Wow.
You know, so yeah, right there.
That's
right
amazing.
There. Yeah,
that's great, and it's an amazing view you got here. Holy jumping!
Yeah, man. So what happened after that? Because I remembered that. I kind of kept up with you because there wasn't a lot of guys leaving Canadian college football and going to the NFL. You know, right. So I heard. The last I had heard, you were with Indianapolis, or you were trying out for Indianapolis or something.
Well, I mean, I went to Miami. I tried out for Detroit Lions.
Might have been that.
Yeah, had a great training camp. Everything went real well. They announced the final roster. Yep. See you, go home. You know what I mean? I'm like, and so I have no idea how to handle that. You know, I'd given it everything I had. It was as close as I came to that goal, that promise that I'd made to my brother. And I'd been drafted by the BC Lions, and they were calling me and saying, "Come on in." But I knew if I went to BC, I could not go back to the NFL. But I knew I could play there. I'd been in practice for 3-4 weeks with these guys, and I'd been starting. I'd been playing every snap. and things went real well. So I didn't know what to do. But my wife, who was not my wife at the time, but my girlfriend, was in sports psychology, and she's like, listen, okay, you got to stick in with this. You believe you can do this, okay? You just need to go out and do the little things and just continue to do it. Don't worry about, not making things. It's not about that. If you're truly able to make it and you're good enough, then someone's going to find you. And the Miami Dolphins called me up and said, we've been watching you on film. Want you to come on down here and do a workout. And first team we play, I'm not sure if it's the first team we played. That's my memory, just compacting everything. But later that year, we were playing against the Detroit Lions. And I ran into a coach, in the tunnels before or after the game. And he was like, that was the worst thing I'd ever seen when they cut you. You're out there, you're killing people. They were, I went out there just so aggressive, so ready to make this team. I'd been going to this martial arts camp in Detroit where, black belts have been pounded. It was ridiculous, the training I did, because I was giving it all I had because I'd made that promise,
Promise.
I made the promise, man. And, and he was just saying, I wanted, on behalf of the team, this is completely unofficial, but I apologize for you being released. And welcome to the NFL, and that was that moment where I felt like I belonged.
Done it.
So I was on the practice roster in Miami, and then Houston Oilers activated me, and I went down there and played the rest of that year, and then the next year. Yeah. And then came up and played in BC for 3 years, and every year got hurt and retired. Last year was a bad concussion, and that was enough.
Yeah, it's good, man. You achieved your goal, and you were able to do something that not a lot of people ever get the chance to do, man. That's what I always I very much feel blessed every time I get on stage. Because there's so many people in this world, mate, that don't have a voice, and I don't mean a singing voice. I just mean a voice. They're unheard, So the fact that we get to go up on stage and not only do I have a voice, but it gets to be magnified. It's a real blessing, man.
Yeah. So. Just to rewind here a little bit, you grew up in Glasgow, is that what you said?
Yeah, I was born, the synopsis of my story is born and raised in Glasgow. My father worked away my whole life until we moved to Canada. He came in the door and said, we're moving.
What did he do?
He's a diesel mechanic.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically when Margaret Thatcher closed down all the steel mills in Scotland, it changed the complexion of Scotland forever, especially where we grew up, which was a coal mining steel town, the place closed and all the men left. Everybody had to go to England, or they had to go to Sullenvoe or the north of Scotland to go work, not unlike Newfoundland, for instance. A lot of guys from Newfoundland left Newfoundland, they go up to Fort McMurray to go make some money, and then they go back. Right? It's the same kind of thing. So my dad worked away a lot, and I think my mother had just had enough, and she said, look, either figure something out or things are going to change.
Brothers and sisters?
One brother, a younger brother, 4 years younger. Okay. And so we moved. It was July 8th, maybe 8th, 1988.
Okay.
We landed in Canada and moved into a wee rental house. And
did you know anybody here?
No, nobody.
Wow.
Mate. I sold everything, Mark. My mum and dad sell everything. So when we came to Canada, it was us. I mean, whatever was in the suitcase. And my father had come maybe, I think, 2 weeks before us, and he'd found us a wee rental house, and we stayed there for about a year. And then they ultimately found we were looking. They'd put me to high school, so I rolled into high school, and I quickly found out that most of the guys for high school lived in this one area, this place called Peel Village. And I told my ma, I said, everybody seems to be living in this area. So they started looking for a wee house in that area, and they found one. And that's where I grew up for a couple of years until I went to Bishops.
Wow. Singing, when did that start?
I've been singing as long as I can remember. I've always enjoyed singing, and honestly, mate, I had no idea you could make a living at it. I just love singing. Music to me was always just something that was inside of me. It was always busting to get out. It was my form of communication. And then when I came to Canada, it was tough, man. It was a tough time. I mean, needless to say, you're 16, 17-year-old boy ripped for everything you know, and you're put into this new country, and
Yeah.
you knew everything.
Mm-hmm.
No memories. So the friends that you meet, you have no, like, they're not really friends. They're just people you meet.
Right,
You know. So it was tough. But during that time, I had my guitar, and I always had that. And up till that point, my guitar was just something I sat and noodled on and whatever. But during that time, it became a really good friend to me, and I was sort of able to tell my guitar things I couldn't really tell anybody else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I completely
so
understand.
instead of punching somebody in the face, or
I used to. That's what I did.
Right,
I would punch people in the face.
People in the
And
face.
tell them what I thought.
Well, I did that a few times myself, but you know, like, as a teenager, an adolescent, you have to be able to. You're going through so much, you know, and I just found a great friend in my guitar. So during that time, you know, I'd sit down and write poems or songs, or, you know, just kept them to myself.
Yep.
They were just very personal stuff. And then at school, I was at school one day, and this guy said, "Man, I heard you can sing." And up until that point, I'd just been this guy that played soccer and rugby,
Okay.
you know. And so I went out and I went to a drama class, and I sang John Lennon's "Imagine," I think it was.
Beautiful.
And everybody was like this, and I was like, man.
Because, I mean, your voice is very powerful, very unique. Is that something you had to work on, or was that what, like, I just started singing and that's what came out?
Mate, I've taken no lessons. That's why it's so humbling to play with these symphony guys, you know, because these guys have dedicated their whole life to their instrument, you know. I have as well, but just in a different way,
Instruments
you know.
inside you.
I have I don't know. My voice was a way for me to communicate, you know, on many levels. But I started, you know, I really enjoyed it. It was something I enjoyed, the same as you enjoyed. You'd made a promise, but you enjoyed playing football, you know. I enjoyed singing, and I enjoyed seeing what my music and what my voice could do for other people. You know, I really enjoyed the fact that I was given. I've always believed, like, I was given something, and in return I have to give it back, you know. So I was given a voice. I never asked. I never went to classes. I never was any formal training or whatever. I just was born, and I've been singing as far as I can remember.
Can your brother sing?
And my brother's actually quite a good singer, but my brothers, we have different personalities, and the fact that my brother would never. I don't think my brother would ever get up and sing. But my brother actually does have a great voice.
Because to me, outside of from what I know of you, you're not necessarily the person who would seek the limelight, but when you open your mouth to sing, it comes to you.
Yeah,
you know
I enjoy getting on stage, Mark. Like, I enjoy hamming it up and having a good time, you know. But yes, I'm a solitary animal. You think a lot of folk might think I'm communal, you know, that I like to be around large groups of people, but I really don't. I love performing for people, and I love touching people's hearts with my words and my songs. But I enjoy, you know, my own company.
Yeah. So you're at high school and singing Imagine.
So I'm singing Imagine. It dawns on me, holy, you know, I'm having a great time doing this. I never ever thought anybody would pay attention, and all of a sudden it was like, oh man, you're a great singer, blah blah blah. Same as when Breck phones you and says, you know, all you need is somebody to sit up and pay attention and give you some really great feedback, you know. So I was like, that's great. So then I keep playing football. I go to Bishops.
So you started playing football in high school, like?
Yeah, well, when I went there, I was like I was the new Scottish guy who can kick.
Okay.
Oh, you can be the kicker for the football team.
And you were the running back.
And I was the running back, the tailback, and I, you know, I had a great time. So the tailback came for rugby, so I knew how to run with a ball, and the kicking came for soccer. So I did that, and then I won. I got this Peel region, Peel All-Star kicker. And I was invited to this banquet, this All-Star banquet, and that's when I met Ian Breck.
Okay.
So before I knew it, I was on my way up to Bishops, and went to Bishops, met all you guys. I jumped right into that football family, the whole thing. But they had this wee thing down at the pub called Acoustic Tuesdays.
Yes, at the Lion, right?
The Lion,
yeah. The legend. I mean, it's legendary now, right? John Reid at the Lion, and somehow my whole existence at Bishop's, I never went to, and I always heard it, and it might have been a little jealousy. I don't know, because it was always girls telling me you should see John Reid at the Lion. I don't care. Well, he's a terrible kicker.
I get done at the Lion. I was wide right on the field, but
now it's.
But
legend,
I was done at the Lion, man, and I was sat up there with my guitar and I sang. Radiohead songs.
Creep.
And
dude, somebody on Facebook, I swear to you, this happened. Yeah. Somebody on Facebook yesterday, I posted we were going to be on the podcast, and they said, ask Johnny about when he sang Creep, and then 200 Bishop students realized he'd be a rock star.
Oh, man.
And then today on the way here, swear to God, came on the radio, first song on the radio.
Well, everybody, it was one of the things, like back then, and you remember this, but when we went to school there, everybody wanted to be Eddie Vedder. Mm-hmm. Like all the bands at Bishop's, they were all wanting to be like Seattle kind of rock bands, and I never, it was never my thing, mm-hmm. So I sort of took a look around myself, and I was like who are these people? And it served me well through my life to observe, and I'm like, man, God, these local people up here, man, like, what are they listening to? Listening to country music, okay. What about all these students? Like, what are they listening to? Well, they're really into like Radiohead and this stuff, and so I basically just put a few songs together that I thought the people would like. No, but it wasn't really about me. It was more about like what would the people in here like. Mm-hmm. And I started doing that, and I'd get down there, and every other Tuesday, wherever, get down and sing a few songs, and that was brilliant. I loved that. Mm-hmm. And then that got the attention of a local fella that they were looking for a lead singer for a local country band, and up until that point I didn't really know. I knew country music, I called it storytelling music.
Well, it is.
So I kind of locked myself away, and I learned a lot of that, and went up and started singing with they guys, making a few extra dollars there at the weekends, and long story short, Mark, I basically graduated Bishop's. I left school, tried to work my way into the music business here in Canada. A lot of gatekeepers, a lot of things kind of pushing against me, and I thought to myself, if I'm going to do this, if I'm really going to do it, kind of like you with the NFL, I'm just going to go to the big league and see where I fit there, and if I don't fit there, then maybe this wasn't for me,
And fall back on kicking.
No, I don't think so. But maybe it wasn't for me. So I packed up. At the time, it was Jen and I that had got married. We had Justin, was 3 weeks old. We loaded up a Subaru, man, and drove to the border at Detroit. I'll never forget it. Big fella, big guard. Asked for the passports, gave him the passport, and he says, "Where are you going?" I said, "Nashville." He went, "Music?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "Good luck, buddy." Right, and I could feel Jen, I could feel her eyes, like laser beams. I got a brand new baby in the back. I just took this girl, my new wife. I'm taking her to a foreign country. On this pipe dream, long story short, it wasn't very long before I started getting some attention, and signed a deal with DreamWorks.
But you were writing first, isn't it?
Yeah, I was
writing songs for other people.
I started writing, and I got a development deal with DreamWorks to be a songwriter, and an artist to be an artist, and that lasted about 2.5 years, something like that, and then DreamWorks closed their doors. And everybody was released. I then went on to write for another company who picked me up, and in that relationship with the guys, recorded my first album called Born to Roll, that was picked up by a fella by the name of Ron Kitchener and Open Road Records in Canada. It's a subsidiary label of Universal. And I asked him, I said, "How many of these things are you guys hoping to sell?" And he said, like 4. I mean, if we could get 4,000, maybe 5,000 records. And I kind of sat back and I said, "Oh, okay," because in my mind, I sell 11,000 records at Bishop's.
You did?
Yeah. I made a wee.
You sold 11,000 records, Johnny Reid records at Bishop's University.
At that time, it was called John Reid.
John Reid.
And it was me standing in a local cornfield, with a leather jacket on. I'll forget it. And I basically just took these songs that I was writing, and I put them on a disc.
That's incredible.
And every time I went out and I played, I had people wanted CDs, so there were about 11,000 units.
There's 2,000 people that go to Bishops.
But see, all the local people, it's funny because that's what sometimes we do that, Mark. We get in this the Bishops thing, but I viewed where we went to school as so much bigger than just students. So I looked at all the local. I became very good friends with all the local people and all the people that worked there every day and lived there, were born and raised there. So at the weekends I'd be going on all these big fairs and all these big.
Really?
All these different things, and
that's where you were.
That's where I was. Yeah. Everybody's
I remember one time
it
was Lost Day, right? So the day after we lose our last football game, I think it was the '94 too. We just lost to Western. The next day, everybody meets at the local pub and gets drunk. And I believe, was it that year we went and knocked on your door, and you answered the door all quiet, and you're like, "Nah, I'm working on something." I went, "That loser's never going to amount to anything." You were probably writing a song or something.
I remember that because it was, I think, did they not call it like Black Monday or
Lost Monday?
Lost Monday, right? And I remember going, I mean, that was a wild time.
It was the craziest.
But I think what happened was, I went out with you guys and I realised I wasn't keeping up.
You went home,
and I was like,
"That's right, you did go home."
Because there was no chance I was keeping up, and I was like, I'm going to go and I'm just going to lay low, and then all of a sudden I hear bam, 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 bam.
Where's Reid? Let's get him.
And I'm like, man, I'm good, guys. I'm all right.
I remember that
because I knew where that was. I knew where it was going to go.
It's never a good ending.
It was never a good ending.
It's a sad ending.
Whenever Jacques Chapeldin, Jacques was, I think he was even thinking about coming up, but Glenn Constantine was with you guys, and I went, there's no way I'm partying with Glenn. I mean,
who's a huge part of my life too. He gave me he asked me. We were at a party one night, and I think we'd already finished football. And he said, "So what are you going to do now? Are you going to play in the NFL?" And he said that to me. And the fact that guy, with that football knowledge and that experience in football, had asked me if I thought I wanted to play in the NFL, made me think, all of a sudden I can do this.
He's amazing. I see him, Mark. I spend obviously quite a bit of time up here. And I'll turn on the telly, and then I'll see is it Laval?
Yes,
the Rouge. And I'm like,
it's dynasty, man.
It's unbelievable
what he's built
he's done
from a dream.
And
man.
I'll tell you what, man. I knew something was going. He was always a very special guy.
Yes.
Because the players around him wanted to play for him.
Oh yeah, they hung out with him, right?
But I always remember sitting on a plane, and I sat beside the defensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans.
Mm-hmm.
And he and I were talking and chatting and all this stuff, and I said, "How are you? What are you up to?" And he goes, "I'm just going up to visit a friend in Canada." And I said, "Who's that?" And he goes, "Oh, it's a guy named Glenn Constantine." And I went, "Yeah, I know Glenn."
Everybody loves him.
You don't know Glenn? I said, "I know Glenn." And then we had this whole conversation. But he never, I wouldn't say played a huge role in my life per se. But he was definitely somebody that I very much looked up to, and because he knew how to motivate.
Yep.
He was a great motivator, as was Ian Breck.
Yes.
As was Hack.
Yes, Tom Allen. Yeah, for sure. It was a great environment. I didn't even realize how great it was until I sort of became a man and became my 40s.
Jacques Chapeldin.
Jacques Chapeldin, yeah. Unbelievable environment at Bishops.
Amazing.
To create, and not just football players,
no.
Anything you want to do in life to go on and use those same tools that they instilled in us to become successful or happy at whatever it is that we want to do. And you mentioned motivation, and I know when you went to the United States and you got your Subaru pack with a baby crying in the back, that's enormous motivation. That's all the motivation you need.
Right.
But how does it? And we had Drew Lynch on the show, who won America's Got Talent, and he said action comes before motivation. So you got to start doing something, and then you want to do it. So even for me, life is busy. You got to write jokes because you're going on stage. You want to get an hour of material, all that stuff. How do you organize your day? Because I've seen your schedule. It's to write songs.
People, luckily, you can write a song anywhere. Song ideas come to me daily.
So you get an idea. What happens from there?
Get an idea. I usually hum the melody in at my phone.
Okay.
Or I'll come up with an idea for a song.
Mm-hmm.
Like I come up with an idea this morning for a song. I won't share it because it's not written yet. But I come up with an idea for this morning. So I sat down. I wrote kind of like what I want the song to say, like what's the message I want in this song, and then the melody sometimes comes after that based on the syllables of the title or whatever it might be. It's just something that comes naturally to me, you know. It's the same as other things come natural to other people. But I've always been a believer that like sort of like preparation comes to opportunity. Opportunity is then taken, and people call you lucky.
Yes.
You know. So I just try and I'm just always trying to be prepared and working hard. One, if I probably have a few faults, Mark, but one of my biggest issues, I think, and it was Jen that pointed this out to me. She keeps pointing this out to me, but I don't celebrate accomplishments. I've done. I mean, goodness gracious, it's. There's been so many great moments, but I never ever take a minute to celebrate the moment. I'm always on to what's next.
Yeah,
it's my personality, and I explained that to Jay. I'm like, Jay, I can't, like, you know, like I'll get something and I'll go up and I'll thank everybody and I'll say thanks very much, thank you so much, and I'll come and sit down.
Yeah.
And she'll say good, and I'll say yes, but listen, see tomorrow we need to think. You know, I'm on to the next thing.
Right.
And it's just my personality, and I believe that part of my personality is probably what got me through a lot of the stuff that you have to go through in order to get yourself where you find yourself. You know.
What are some of those things?
I think you have to really believe in yourself. You know, I think that you have to understand that yes, you may not have the voice of other people, but other people don't have the voice of you.
Right.
I think that you have to. You know, you have to pick yourself up and dust yourself off. You know, I've had record deals, I've lost record deals. Yep. I've had people look me straight in the eye and tell me I'm going to amount to nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
You know how a Scottish guy's going to, you know, in Canada and America, and
when did you start using that fake accent, by the way?
I use that with the day I met that guy. You know, it's amazing, man.
Yeah.
It's like.
So people telling you can't do it is a great motivator.
I look at that as like motivation for me, mate, is Mark, I know what it feels like not to have a dollar. You know, I know what it feels like to be sitting around wondering how you're going to pay the bill. I know how that feels. I've been there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be there. I didn't enjoy that. You know, I didn't enjoy that when I didn't have kids. And then you have children.
Yes.
And everything changes because then everything you do is for them. Everything.
Yep.
So the motivation at that point changes from a personal motivation to a highly personal motivation, and that's what keeps me wanting to create and I want to take care of them. I want to take this gift I've been given. I want to share it with other people, and in return, I get to take care of my family.
Yes.
And that's.
Do they sing?
They all sing, but they're interested. They're kind of like myself. I think they're interested in sports and in school. And my daughter loves to sing. She's, you know, she doesn't mind getting up and singing you a song, but you would never get the boys singing you a song at this point. Yeah, they'll figure it out more.
It has to be intrinsic, right? It has to be, the motivation has to be from within. They can't be told go sing. They have to find their passion.
And what happens is you know. It reveals itself, right? It's an operation of refinement. You know, you think you know who you are, and then life kind of reveals itself to you. You know, it kind of shows you who you are. You know, and then you find, and if you're lucky enough, you get to do something you really enjoy doing. Yeah. You know. So
to support the family, which is an unbelievable feeling for sure. Yeah. So we got to definitely revisit this, because one of the Johnny Reid stories I have in my head is the Subway mascot. It's one of the greatest stories of all time. You know, from where you came from, in that mascot.
I gotta tell you, that was one of the best times I ever had. People, you know, I've had guys, you know, oh man, I can't believe you were in that Subway outfit. But Mark, I'm telling you, I mean, it was such a laugh,
Yeah.
man. It
Okay,
was
so for John
amazing.
Reid, you weren't playing in the games,
No.
so you're whatever they call that, red-shirted.
Yep.
And you watching the game instead of just watching the game on the sidelines to make a few bucks. This
Yeah,
local
man.
Subway had opened up in Lennoxville, and they had a giant inflatable mascot, like I don't know, 12 feet, had a fan
It
in
was
it.
at least 12
At
feet.
least,
Yeah.
it was like everyone a head turner, right? Like, oh my God, look at that! It's a sub, and it's walking right towards me. And inside that sub costume was Johnny Reid, right?
Yeah, man. Guy said, he goes, hey, man, are you playing? I said, no, I'm not playing. He said, man, he goes, I've got this thing and blah, blah. He goes, man, I'll give you like $25, man.
25.
And I was
bucks.
like, $25? I mean,
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, man. He goes, and I'll give you a sub card. You know, you can come in with the buds. And I was like, yeah, man, that sounds good. What do I need today? He goes, you have to put this thing on, you know?
Yeah.
So I get it on. I'm like, all of a sudden I'm in this submarine and they press the go button and the thing blows up, right? But Mark, the worst part about that whole thing, man, was there was these wee snot-nosed kids behind the whole game, and they would cover the fan, so the sub would start collapsing. so I was like, I'm trying to kick these kids, man, and they'd run away, and it would, and then kick again, and it would flow down. And then I don't know if you remember, but there was a bunch of boys that I knew. They had no idea it was me inside this outfit. They were. Some guy goes, the submarine wants to body surf or something. So they tried to lift up the sub, and oh man, it was. Looking back on it, it was so much fun, man.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time it was a bit crazy, but it was a good laugh.
Yeah, and when there's the story too, where I don't know what the game situation was, but we went in at halftime, and at halftime, the players that aren't playing, they come in at halftime too, and they sit there, and the head coach talks to the team. And at this particular moment, we weren't doing very well, and Coach Ian Rex starts yelling at people, and you walked in with your Subway thing on, and you're sitting there, and from the looks of it, like the Subway mascot had a big smile on it, so you were happy, and you were sitting there. And then, Breck's yelling at us about something or other. And it's like, Jesus Christ, who's in the sub costume? Because it was making a fan noise. And I think you turned it off or something. And the fan collapsed. And it was like, and then you just got up and dragged it out of the room.
Is that not amazing? Like,
From there to standing on stage at the Corral Center, man.
Love it. I love these conversations because I totally forgot about that. It was a great time, man. I really was, and I look back on it, and it was a real defining point. That time at Bishops was a real defining point of my life, and everything about it, the chance to get away, the getting to meet my wife there, and how that changed my whole life, and the gifts that I've been given for that, it's quite a story, man, But the sub will forever go down in history as one of the funniest things of our time.
Yeah,
for me it was $25.
I probably told that story about the change room 25 times.
Well, the good thing is it'll just keep getting better, right?
But,
I mean, by the end of this thing, there'll be.
If I ever see your picture in the paper and I'm at work, I'm like, okay, I gotta tell you something about this guy and the Subway mascot, and it's great. It's a great story of like, no matter what's going on in your life.
I've saw Ian a few times. Yeah. So I don't know if you knew this, man, but they gave me an honorary doctorate at Bishops.
Wow. A doctorate. Dr. Johnny Reid.
Yeah,
that's a good ring to it.
Yeah. And I remember they brought me up there, and it was myself and Jean Charest. And Jean Charest got up there, and they did this beautiful, eloquent, speech about, and they brought me up. And I'm looking at Ian Breck, and Breck's looking at me, and I'm looking at all these guys and all these professors and all these people that I just had the time of my life with, and I just simply tell the kids to just savour every minute of this, man, because this is truly the beginning of the rest of your life.
Yes, I can remember being at Bishops and thinking, man, I hope this, and I still got 4 or 5 years. I hope this lasts forever.
Some guys are still there, man.
Yes,
I went up there and I see the same guys, and I'm like,
Joey Sabo still there.
Oh, is Joey still there?
I think he still works there. Matt McBride.
I know Matt's there. Yeah. I saw Joey the last time I went up there. I saw Joey. It was a few years back, so I didn't know he was still there. But I know Matt's. Mm-hmm. Matt's still there. I know there's a few of the boys, the guys that owned the the Lion, and all the guys.
Same guys,
there,
for sure.
It's amazing.
It is a great place.
Amazing.
I mean, time almost stands still there. You go back and it just feels very.
And
similar.
we were just kids. You remember that, like, you think, we were a bunch of men and all.
You think so at the time, for sure.
We were just kids.
You think you got the answers to the life, right?
No, man.
Like figured out.
Just a bunch of kids, man.
Yep.
Crazy.
You don't know which direction to look, to choose, but I mean, at the time, you're so full of confidence, and that's what it's all about.
Well, and being part of a team, it was a big deal.
Yes.
It was there was a confidence in that. We were a pretty big deal on the campus. At least we were made to feel like that.
Yes.
And that came with a massive amount of responsibility as well.
You're accountable for everything there, for sure. Like anything you did at the Lion got back to the coaches.
That's what I said to all the guys in the tour, and they wear the tour jackets. I'm like, hey, if you're in a tour jacket, make sure you behave yourself.
How many guys you got working on tour?
The last tour we had 54.
50. You got, like, here today there's 50 people hanging out with Johnny
today,
Reid jackets? Where is it? Do you have an extra large Johnny Reid jacket there for me? Or what?
The magic of these shows is that I'm just invited.
Yeah.
So I flew here by myself.
Oh, wow.
And I brought my drummer from Memphis. And then some of the other musicians. Luckily, two of my musicians, one guy is for Pembroke and another guy's for Gatineau.
Oh, wow. That's sort of how you started out, right? I remember something about that, local guys around here.
Yeah, so I moved, when I left Bishops, I came to Ottawa.
Yeah.
The CCMA Awards were in Ottawa.
Yeah.
And I had been asked to be part of the showcase.
Okay.
It was a chance to sing for industry insiders. So I was like, man, I'm going to move to Ottawa. I'm going to find some local guys. I'm going to get my stuff together here so that I'm really going to shine at this thing. And one of the very first guys I met was a young fella, 16-year-old fella, originally for Northern Ontario, named Ivan Petit, and he's still with me.
Wow.
And another young fella I met was Ben Roots for Pembroke. Plays the fiddle. He's still with me. And then through the years, there's been guys coming and gone depending on their life, what's happening with them. So tonight I'll have my Michael Shand on keys, Miku Graham backups, backing vocals, Calvin Beale on bass, Chuck Fields on drums, Andrew Thompson on guitar, then Ivan on guitar, and Benny. So I'll end up maybe having 6 in my band here.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool.
But, yeah.
So what's I remember I saw you in Toronto. What's that theater called?
Massey
Hall. Massey Hall, right. So the first time I saw you at the Corral Center that night, where you just blew my mind that this is a possibility in the world where you can
it's
just
the sub guy.
That's exactly what it was. There's the sub guy, and there's like 8,000 people singing along, staring at him the whole bit. Man. So I get there, and everyone's got a cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I had no idea. So Massey Hall, a couple years later, I take my son. We're in Toronto, and you were nice enough to give us tickets. I show up, cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
Nobody else has a cowboy hat, man. What happened?
Well, I think what happened is I've been celebrated in Canada. I've been celebrated in the country market when I started.
Okay.
You look at genres. You look at radio stations. What kind of radio stations are they? There used to be rock and soul and there's all these. Now there's just like there's country radio. And then there's adult contemporary radio, talk radio, and then there's pop radio. Just whatever. So like, where do you fit? Where does my music fit?
Right.
Well, when I first started, CMT, which was Country Music Television, picked up on me right away, and then all of a sudden, all these country stations started playing my music, and I was like, okay, this is brilliant. I mean, this is fantastic. And before I knew it, I've got 30-something CCMA awards in my house.
30?
Yeah, 30.
That's a lot up and down, man.
That's a lot. So, I've done very well in the country market in Canada, and I've been identified as that, but I've never identified myself as a country singer.
Yeah. 30?
Yeah, I've got 5 Junos. I get
5 Junos and 30 CCMA. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
It's been a long road,
overwhelming.
Man. Yeah. But it's been a. But I look at that and I think, for somebody that was told it would never work, and simply because I was different, I didn't fit the mold, and I still don't.
Right.
And that answers the question to why depending on where you come see me, will depend on who comes to see me.
Right.
You know, but the one thing I can guarantee, that all the people that come see me, they're all hard-working people. They're all good, hard-working people that understand the values of life and understand what really matters, which is friends and family. Right. They want to celebrate the same things I celebrate.
Right.
And that's the audience that I've found. So it's not really a country audience. It's not a blues, soul, rock and roll audience. It's my audience. It's just people like myself, you know, that want to come out and celebrate the fundamentals and have a good laugh and have a good night out, you know, and go and forget life for 90 minutes. You know?
It's interesting. It's a common theme on this podcast. We had a guy on, Jesse Reynolds, comedian, a few weeks ago, and he said it was his perceived weakness that he really figured out was his strength.
Right.
You know, once he embraced, and so here you are, the guy, you know, that's got the Scottish accent in Canada, singing whatever genre of music is really your strength, right? It's not something you have to hide.
No, it's a celebration of difference. You know, and that's the one thing about Canada that I've always, you know, people ask me, it doesn't matter where I go in the world, people always ask me about Canada, you know, like, oh, what's it like? And I always say, it's a place that celebrates difference. And I was very, very fortunate, Mark. I was really fortunate in everything that I've done so far, and really fortunate to have met the people I've met in this country. I've crossed this country so many times, and I've met a lot of friends, and every time I do a concert, I just look at it like my friends are showing up, you know, and it's been good. It's been really great.
It's great, and I think part of that success is your ability to tell a story. You know, when I started motivational speaking and I started telling my story, first of all, it felt great for me, but it also touched people in a way that you couldn't touch them otherwise. And you're telling your story and they see themselves in that. They see the loss, the struggle, the never giving up, perseverance, and just sort of having a goal setting life. And obviously I've heard your music a lot. I've been to your concerts. It's more than just tapping the toes. It is that too, right? It is the tapping the toes and the laughing and the fun times and looking at the people you're with, but it's also that story. You're getting a story. Each song comes with a story.
Well, and every song needs to mean something. You know, everybody says, oh John, I've written these songs. I'm going to send you my songs. I think it'd be a great song for you. And I always politely say, you know, I write my own songs. Because unless I hear something that speaks so truthfully to me, that moves me, that makes, you know, I might be able to pull that off truthfully, you know. But the only way that I've been able to communicate with people is telling the truth, you know. And the best way for me to do that is to sit down and compose the music and compose the songs myself, you know. So that's just the way that I've went about it. And I think you not only do you hear the truth, but more importantly, you feel the truth.
Yes.
You can, you know, you're like, I knows exactly what he's talking about.
Right, of course
you
do, yeah.
Because you've been through it, you know.
100%.
Yeah, man.
So your grandmother's story about the Queen, is that a story? Is that a song?
No, it's not a song per se. I've written songs for my gran. I wrote a song called Tell Me Margaret, which was Tell Me Margaret, who am I going to call on Sunday now that heaven's called on you, when she passed. And I talk about her endlessly. The song I sang that day was Today I'm Going to Try and Change the World, which the Queen enjoyed, and I've since sang it in several different places, cool places. But what I've done for my granny, Mark, and nobody really knows this, for the past 4 years, I've been writing a musical for my gran.
Nice.
It's called My Bonnie Lass. And when I lost my gran, I realised very quickly that she was gone. And for that moment on, I was trying to figure out a way to bring her back. And obviously I'm not bringing her back, at least physically. But then I started thinking, well, you know, it's this gift of music, man. I wonder if I can bring her back. I wonder if I can bring her story back. And then it was like, well, I'll write a song about her. And then I thought, well, what if I just write a musical? What if I write a musical that people can come and they can get to see my gran and hear my gran and celebrate her life, you know, because my granny lived a very simple life, you know, but she had an incredible story. She was widowed when she was 21 years old. My father was the eldest of 3 boys. He was 5. when my grandfather died. So she raised 3 boys by herself, cleaning school floors. She had a great sense of humour, as you would need, and she had I mean, her story's amazing. A story of strength, and you know, it's a celebration of her and the women of her time. You know, almost like a forgotten generation. You know, going through it happens basically in 1948 to about 1972 is when the musical takes place. So that's in the works, and it's at Michael Rubinoff at Sheraton College, who was originally he was behind the whole Come From Away. He's picked it up, and we're hoping that maybe in the next year and a half, 2 years, we'll be able to tour that. My Bonnie Lass.
And you're going to be obviously in it, right?
I'm not going to be in it. I'm going to go and I'm going to introduce it to everybody and introduce my granny to people. You know, and I've written all the songs for it. Matt Murray, a great young playwright, has helped me put it together. The musical director is Bob Foster, and the director is Mary Frances Moore, and it's a great story, and I think a story that will be very relatable to a lot of people, man.
Wow, that's incredible. I look forward to that. The singing, how long are you going to be Johnny Reid the singer? Is that something that goes on forever? Or?
Oh man, I just sort of take it as it comes, you know. I think I came up slowly, you know. I wasn't. You mentioned you had somebody on the show that was somebody that came on the scene and won a TV America's Got Talent. Whatever.
Drew Lynch.
You know, that's a big thrust into the spotlight. You know, that's like boom, you're a star. It wasn't like that for me, you know. It took a long, slow road. So my hope is that because I came up long and slow, I can go down long and slow as well, you know.
That's the way it usually goes, right? Balance.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, because I don't feel like I feel like, you know, every artist, same as an athlete, if you honestly wake up and think that you're going to be able to play forever, you're dreaming. You know,
day by day, man.
Yeah, day by day, and it's the same as an artist. You know, you celebrate the time and the opportunities that you've been given, understanding that they could disappear. Right. Now, for an athlete, it's a bit different. You know, a knee injury could make it disappear. You know, physical injury. For a singer, it's really just relevance. You know, are you relevant? Do people want to hear what you have to say? Right. So, you know, I've built a great audience, and as long as I have something to say, and I continue to say it truthfully, I believe there's going to be people that want to come see it. You know, and as long as people want to come see it, I'll keep singing. Since
that struggle to get to a point where somebody considers you successful, who knows what that point is, and then you get, you know, you're winning Juno's, Country Music Awards, the whole bit. Is there a point where maybe something happened, or you did something wrong, or like something else to overcome? You know what I mean? Like, is it, people think, oh, he's gotten to a certain point, it's easy sailing from here, but that's clearly not the truth, right? It's day to day, man. I
think the biggest misconception in our business is, you know, we live in a world of people's attention. I mean, it's like, you know, it's as fast as Instagram. You know, that's how people's attention is so short. So you're easily forgotten. You know, I think the key nowadays, you know, for guys like myself, is just to make sure that, you know, I've got something to say. You know, if I get nothing to say, then I can't expect people to listen.
How do you make sure you do that? Because I know a lot of comedians, once they get to be super successful, all of a sudden they're just in hotels, on airplanes, and living lives. You know, they're no longer the common man. They can't speak to the people. Right? How do you continue to get these experiences?
Well, one thing I did early on, Mark, is I've lived in Nashville for almost 20 years now. You know, I live in Brentwood, Tennessee, and that's my main residence. And the reason for that is because nobody really knows what I do there. You know, it's like, hey man, what, you know, how you doing? I'm good, man. How are you? What do you do? I'm in the music business.
Yeah, of course you are.
Nobody knows what I do. So I like that. And what it also allows me to do is it keeps me connected to you know, to everyday people, man. Like, you know, people at my, like, I still view myself as that, Mark. You know, it's funny. Sometimes I get to do, you know, all this fancy kind of stuff, but I don't view myself as that. You know, I still view myself as a wee boy that used to get up on the pub table and sing songs. I still view myself as the guy that was in the pub at the Lion singing, try to get people to listen.
So you used to get up on the pub table when you were a little kid and sing?
Well, I used to get put up there with my uncles, but yeah.
The first time I saw you sing was on a table.
That's right. I remember and I don't know if you remember this, but the song that I sang that day, I remember that as well because it was terrifying. You know, everybody's banging the glasses, you know, and
it was terrifying.
A rookie has to get up, you know, and I get up and I sang "I Belong to Glasgow," dear old Glasgow town.
Okay.
And the reason I sang that song is because I wanted people to know who I was, and secondly, I felt comfortable singing that on top of a table because I'd sang it on top of a table a few times, you know, growing up. But yeah, I really don't see myself any different than anybody else, and maybe that's been a key to my success, you know, is how I've treated people and how I continue to, you know, just be humble, man. Just be thankful and be humble and understand that everybody in this world we live in, so everybody's good at something. I just happen to be alright at singing, you know.
If you walk around here, do people recognize you?
Yeah. Canada's a different, you know, it's a different place, man. For me, I've had the fortune.
Like, what happens when you go to a restaurant here? Are people going to come up to your table and say?
But I have guys come up and go, "Hey, man, I saw you perform at the blah 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 blah. I just want to say, hey, you know, this or that. Hey, you know, the one I get all the time is, hey, are you Johnny Reid? Yeah, my granny loves you.
Nice.
You know, it's
the grannies do love you.
Yeah,
by the way, right? I've seen the audience,
but
man.
I get that, and I love that because that's who I'm singing for, man. You know, I'm singing. My songs are not about drinking beer down at the river and skinny dipping, and my songs are not about you know, out at the club drinking tequila. You know, that's not my songs. My songs are about dedication and devotion and appreciation and things that are probably a wee bit older than me, to be honest. You know, but I've just always been an old soul, and they're the things that I enjoy singing about, you know.
And that's, like we mentioned earlier, that's what touches people. That's what keeps people coming back. Right?
Yes.
So you've got an audience, a built-in audience now. Anywhere you go, you don't even have to do marketing, basically. Like, for me, it's hard to know when Johnny Reid's in town because there isn't a bus going by with your name on it. But the places are always sold out. You know what I mean? So it's people, you come back year after year, they're still showing up.
You know, mate, it's an interesting thing, you know, because there's a lot of things that can affect that. You know, there's oversaturation in markets. I mean, I like myself, but even I don't like too much of myself. You know, so it's a case of kind of knowing when to come back and how you're coming back. You know, like this was a wonderful chance for me to come back and be part of the symphony. It's not my show; it's the symphony show.
That's incredible.
But it's a chance for me to go up and sing a few songs and to say Merry Christmas to everybody. You know. But when we tour, I mean, we make sure we try and come back every 24 months, you know, every 2 years. We try and bring a tour through Canada. And it's usually in support of our new record, which I've written and recorded and released in the 2 years that have passed between. So it's a cycle, you know.
So how many days of the year are you on the road?
A lot less now, Mark, than it used to be. When I first started, it was a lot.
This is a hard job you have, right? It's not an easy. You don't get up on stage and sing for 2 hours. That's it, right?
I always say the singing's free.
Yeah.
You know, I get paid to travel. You know, because for instance, if I leave the house, it's 3 days. If one show's 3 days, because if I need to get there for the contract states, I have to be in town the day before. So I get there the day before. I wake up, I go to sound check, all that stuff. I do the show. And then I fly the next day, so it's 3 days away from my family.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You know, for one show, and that's only one show. So this past tour that we did, it was 47 shows, and I was on the road for about 19 weeks. You know.
Wow.
So it's a lot of sacrifice here and there.
Yeah.
But but it's the way it's always been. And my kid, Jen and the kids, that's just the way things
Make hay when the sun shines, right?
Yeah,
you got to do it, man.
And having a chance to go out there, like you say, are you always going to do this? Well, I don't know. I mean, if I show up and the place is empty,
you'd probably still sing, wouldn't
you? I've sang in empty places when I started,
Yeah.
But I would, at that point, maybe you look at yourself and say, I think I'm good. I think I've said what I needed to say, and I've said it the way I wanted to say it,
right.
and I can be proud of that and do something else. But I don't know about you. I don't know about other things you're interested in, but I love real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And through the years, it's something I've dabbled in.
Okay.
So I've enjoyed getting involved in different things.
Yeah.
I purchased a recording studio in Nashville, a legendary recording studio.
Wow.
That I've completely renovated and put back together. So that's something that I'm excited about. So there's kind of like other aspects of my life, not just getting on stage,
right.
that I'm super excited about, moving into the future with,
Yeah. So you have other people coming in, recording stuff.
Yeah.
And, that's awesome.
This is cool because I can be part of, like, when I was coming up, a big issue for us is budget. Like, I never had the money to record my songs. I had great songs, but I just couldn't record them. So I was like, well, maybe I can help. Maybe I can build a place or be part of a place that I can, like a young guy like myself.
Yeah.
I could have used somebody saying, hey bud, like, why don't you come in and just,
right.
you can use this space for the day. Just go in and record some songs.
That's right.
So that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm going to try and sort of give back like that, and let some young songwriters and young artists come in and use the place.
Tell them they're important, right?
1 or 2 days a week.
Yeah.
Make them feel. There's nothing. But listen, it doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter. Feeling appreciated and feeling like there's a famous story. The David Beckham.
Mm-hmm.
When he went back and he was playing. He got asked to come play for the LA Galaxy or something, right? And they were about to they were going to get on a plane and go to the game, and they were flying David Beckham on a personal jet because he couldn't, but the rest of the team had to go, Yeah. And he said, no, the team goes on this plane. Yeah. The team stays in the same hotel that I'm staying in.
Yeah.
The team, and the reason is because he wanted to make sure that these guys felt like not only a team, but they felt like professionals.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better for an artist, I have to tell you, as a singer and a songwriter, to be in a professional space, recording on professional microphones, professional equipment, being treated like an artist, and not just some.
Right. It's like a manifest destiny, right? If you're put in an environment and told you're the greatest, chances are
you're gonna become the greatest. I mean, that's just what it is, man. You know, as long as you don't let it go to your head, you know. But it's all, to me. That was always. It's going to be a really important part of the new studio, is making sure that everybody that comes through that door feels that they have something to say, and that they are supported in how they want to say it. You know, so I'm excited to be part of that. I guess
that is exciting for
what
sure.
I'm trying to say, you know, being part of something bigger than myself has always been a goal of mine.
Yeah, and I mean that's full circle to how we felt when we went to Bishop's, right? Yeah. We went in there thinking we're part of some awesome, fantastic thing, man. and we were. Man,
we got a jacket.
We got a jacket. That's it. One more thing I want to know about the story, because where I perform every Friday, Mark Hatfield's Friday night at Yuck Yucks, which is right down there in Elgin Street, used to be the Bytown, and used to have a karaoke.
Yeah, man.
And you were there one night, and I can't remember. I don't know if I've heard the story so many times. I think I was there too. It's one of those things, right? But it was like, everyone, that place is jammed. Everyone's waiting to get up. No one's really listening to the person on stage. Yeah. Do you remember this night? And you went up and sang, and for the first time ever in the history of the Bytown, everyone stopped talking and listened.
I think Jimmy might have been there.
Yeah.
I remember that because everybody was, it's needless to say, you're right, it's a pub and everybody's just drinking. And I went up and I sang and the place got quietened up. And it was good, man. I used to play just down the street here, Mark, at a place called Zuma's.
Okay.
There was a country bar called Zuma's.
Yep.
And they used to hire us, and we'd go in there like on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
I saw you there.
Yeah. And I used to do like 3-4 sets a night, man.
Yeah, that was where what's the Lone Star is the big
Yeah,
the big
it
wooden
used to be
building there.
Zuma's.
Yes.
It used to be called Zuma's.
Yeah, you had an album release. I completely forgot about that right now. An album release one night, and I went there.
Yeah, so I you know, that I played there. I mean, I cut my teeth there, you know.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of places up and down the 401 kind of corridor, you know. Like, through the years, that's kind of where we cut our teeth. But it's so many memories, mate. I mean, it's just unbelievable, you know. I don't know if you feel the same sometimes, but my life is about moving forward. I'm always moving forward, you know. Like I say, I never celebrate moments. I'm always moving forward. But the past couple of years, like the past year and a half, and I don't know what it is. I'm 45 now, right? I don't know what it is. I just, it's been a real reflective time for me. It's like, I don't know whether the kids are getting older and they're kind of...
How old's your oldest kid?
17.
Dude, we're going through the same thing right now, man.
17, 16, 12 and 8. Yeah. But all of a sudden, I'm kind of looking... I'm just sort of looking on my shoulder.
Yep.
And I cannot believe the journey. I sit and I'm like... I take a deep breath. It makes me tired.
Yep.
When I look at it, I'm like, of course I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Of course that happened. You know, and I don't know when it happened. I don't know. Like, I started swimming, and there was probably a point in my life where I should have probably... I could have turned around and made it back, but then I went way past that, right? And I look behind, and it's just such a reflective time for me, and a very thankful time in my life. I feel like I'm, I'm reaching out to people, man, that I've not spoke to in a long time. And
I think it's hormonal.
You think so?
I don't know, because I'm doing the same thing, man.
I'm
100%. Where'd the time go? Right? Who are these adults that used to be my kids? Where the first 20 years of your life go so slow. Yeah. The next 20, fast forward. I don't even man. You look at pictures and you go, what? That was me? I don't even remember that. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Or you start mending, like I don't have a lot of broken fences, but I've just found, like, just reaching out to people that, you're people that were in some way instrumental, and maybe they did something shitty to you, but because of that, it kind of moved your life this way, and I find myself reaching out to the guys and saying, hey, just want to say Merry Christmas, or I hope you and the family are well, or whatever, and it's I think it's just, maybe it is hormonal. Jesus, I don't know.
That's what this is. I wanted to apologize to you for punching you in that subway costume, quite frankly. But it's Steve Jobs has a famous quote. It says, you can only connect the dots looking back, right? And you look back and you see those things that didn't go your way. Those are the things that propelled you in the direction to get you to the Westin 20th floor. Yeah. Won't give you the room number, but right here.
No, I believe that everything's for a reason, right? And sometimes you don't realize it or recognize it, but it's definitely evident when this time of reflection comes along.
Yes.
Maybe I'm just finding myself with the time. I was actually sitting here yesterday, and just like this, and I'm sitting out looking at and thinking about playing down at Zuma's, and thinking about moving up to Baseline and Greenbank Road into a wee rental place to try and somehow get something good together so I could showcase properly at the CCMA Awards, and and I look back and I'm just like, man, I was so innocent.
Yep.
I was so and nuts. You look back and I'm like, I was crazy. Why? I would never do that now. But back then, it was just a bunch of kids, man.
Yep.
Just trying to figure this thing out.
You gotta take a chance, man.
Yeah,
for sure. Got to go for it.
Yeah.
It seems to me, and your story is not an exception to this, that if you have a passion for something and you just never give up, then at the end, the great things are going to have happened.
Well, that's what you would hope, and nothing in life comes easy. You know that. But I believe we're all here for different. We're all good at. Everybody's good at something. And I could have. I learned a few things from my dad, and my dad always says, if you can figure out a way to make a living, then something that you love, then you'll never work a day in your life, you
Yep.
know. And others look at me and they go, "Oh, I can't believe how hard you work." But I don't feel like I'm
Right.
like, this isn't work to me, man. Like,
This is definitely not work.
you know, like getting to go on stage and
Yeah.
and take a song that you write at your kitchen table and have 60 world class musicians play it on stage. I mean, that's not work. That's flattery.
That is beautiful, and I can't wait. I'm going to be there in a few hours.
Yeah,
Thanks
man.
to my wife, we'll both be there.
Yeah.
Thank you for this, man. This
Brother,
is,
you're welcome, man.
This has been a treat.
It was good. This is, you know, everybody keeps talking about these podcasts, man, but I love it. And I think, you know, I'm just so good to see you, and I'm so happy that everything's gone the way it's gone for you, man.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
it hasn't been easy either. You know,
know?
it's all smoothed out the story.
It's all right,
but
man.
that's what it's all about, and that was amazing.
All part of the journey.
Yes, thank you.